Hello and welcome back to my video blog. The main news out of Brussels this week is of course the European Summit, the meeting of the 27 heads of state and government from the different member states. They've made some quite important progress. They've recognized again that we need to work hard to meet our commitments to fight climate change if we are going to make a success of the United Nations conference in December of this year. They've acted too to regulate better the financial markets, so that this week we've seen both in America and in Europe decisive action to make sure that hedge funds and other alternative investments are subject to proper regulation and are no longer at risk of setting off a chain reaction that can cause so much havoc across the world's financial markets. And they've, of course, looked at the worrying situation in Iran, where already a number of people have died in protests against what many believe are rigged elections in favor of the president. But perhaps the main news, certainly from the point of view of the European Parliament, is the decision unanimously to re-nominate José Manuel Barroso as the President of the European Commission. They've left it up to Parliament as to when we vote, either to approve or to reject him. And I think the hope expressed by some that we might be able to vote on the 15th of July is still rather ambitious. But one thing is clear. If the European People's Party, which is Mr. Barroso's party, now mobilizes to build a coalition of support for him, then they may succeed in having him approved by Parliament sometime before the reformation of the new European Commission in the autumn of this year. What it means, interestingly, for the voters of Europe is we may actually begin to see the formation of a European government and a European opposition reflected in the European Parliament that the voters gave us when they went to the polls for the European elections a couple of weeks ago. What that means is that we might see the creation of a centre-right majority in Parliament, forming a centre-right coalition to agree not just on Mr. Barroso's reappointment, but to agree on the portfolios of commissioners, to agree on the management of the European Parliament, in a Parliament where the Socialists and the Greens have been choosing of their own will the path of opposition. And if that happens, then the European Parliament will start to look far more like a national parliament, where the outcome of the election prejudges the policies that are fed through from the institutions of government. I find this fascinating, exciting, sometimes rather exhausting. I hope you find it interesting too. Please tune in future weeks for future video blogs.